Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 4 or 5 of my What If Deku had a quirk called Absorption Evolution. I just looked back at the video. When I did that one, I was kind of sick, so I was kind of in a bath to be able to talk normally. Because if not, I literally sounded as if someone was pinching my nose all of the time. So I had to be in a bath, basically had vapors and stuff like that, helped me not have a blocked nose. So sorry about all of those water noise. This time I'm not in the bath and I feel a lot better. Actually, just the next, after the bath, I started already being better, so everything was already okay. But yeah, so in the last part, I ended it with Izuku basically saying that Izuku was a lot stronger in his second form, which the transformation, I've decided to call it wait, let me just check my notes. Okay, so his first form, which is normal form, is Chimera. His second form is basically Ryu, which is the Japanese name for a dragon. So his second form will be called Ryu or Dragon. I'm just going to call it Ryu because I prefer it compared to Dragon. And yeah, so he decided to call it that, and basically he decided to call it that before the fight against All Might, but didn't tell it to anyone, and afterward they asked him if he was in control when he was in that form, which he basically said, yes, I think the only reason I wasn't in control the first time was because or I was angry, or because it was the first time that I transformed, which everyone basically accepted. Then they asked for a name, which he said Ryu, or Dragon, which basically, when I found out about that, basically I just kind of realized the hero named Ryoko, Dragon, basically, and I kind of laughed my ass off when I finally found that out. So now I just basically found a way of thinking about it easier to remember her name. So after saying that, the thing with the pool for training, like the girl said, well, with Mineta and Kamnari asking Eraserhead if they could use it for training while lying. When they got there, the same thing was done for the race, but yeah, no. They basically all decided to say, okay, everyone can do it except Izuku, because we already know you're going to win. Because I think I forgot to say it in every video where I explained how he looks. well, the first one, but he does have gills. And he can swim underwater pretty well. Like, a normal human can go down pretty fast underwater, but the only reason our body basically has to stop at a certain point is because of the gases in our bodies that basically needs to be regulated, because if not, our lungs can basically explode. When the reason a fish or other things like that can do it without problems are basically because with gills you can breathe underwater, so the gases in your body can basically flow normally no matter what. But that also makes it harder for you to be able to swim as well when you have a lot of oxygen in your body, because it's trying to go back up out of water at the same time as holding you back from going further. Since he doesn't have that problem, he can basically swim like 4 or 5 times faster than the world's best swimmer, which swims pretty fast. So he goes fast. So basically he's out of the competition. In the end, it's basically Ida instead of Izuku, since Ida was beaten by just a second. So they were stopped by Eraserhead. The next day they decided to go to the mall. This time nobody was attacked by Shigaraki, because Shigaraki was scared shitless of Izuku. Because after the first Nomu was defeated, All for One started to take any quirk he could see. And he was starting to be scary for everyone because of the way he was acting. Even Shigaraki had trouble thinking of looking at him normally. And All for One basically started creating specific brands of Nomu to basically fight against Izuku and stop him so that they could take him and basically make him a Nomu. The second attack basically proved why he was not to be trifled with. Basically fighting something that was made to basically be a lot stronger than anyone. Like All Might would not have won against him compared to the first Nomu, because the first Nomu was like at least 20 times weaker than that. That this one had shock nullification completely, that was normally not going to be beaten by anything, except that Izuku just basically started beating on him so much that it wasn't just overloaded. It was ineffective. So basically everyone, All for One decided to completely start again and make Nomu so strong and stuff like that, as well as augmenting his own power to a point of impossibility. And let's say he found a quirk that basically allows him to fuses with other things. The only backlash from fusing with one of those things is that for as long as you're fused, all of the personalities, if you're fusing with something that can think, are fighting each other to be in control. if you're fusing with something like, let's say he decided to fuse with a rock, he could change the entire shape of the rock as much as he wants to, but the backlash is that after he did transforms from fusing with something that isn't alive, he basically cannot move for about 4 or 5 times longer than what he was fused for with that thing. And then if you fuse with more than one, well, it basically augments even more. So he basically found that quirk and started making a lot of no-moves. And Shigaraki basically started being afraid of both All For One, because he saw that how a simple kid was basically making him go all out to get stronger than anything he ever saw. Like, at this point, even All Might wouldn't even be able to stand against one hit from the guy. Just because All For One wants to get that freaking kid. And if All For One is going to that length, Shigaraki knows that the kid, you have to stay the fuck away from it. Sorry for the language, but yeah, it's like, you don't go near him. And after the form change that they saw, they basically knew that, shit, the kid's way stronger than what we could ever imagine. And they saw that in the form he was ruthless. And they didn't know if it was because in that form he was basically just there to kill, or if he just lost his mind or something. But yeah. So he didn't attack anyone when they went to buy stuff. When they went back to the school, and then later in the buses to go to the forest training camp, basically the same kind of talking were made. Well, with class 1B, the idiot basically talking to them as if they were weaker than him, even though he's basically the weakest of anyone in class 1B, and the only two people that are weaker than him in class 1A are basically the tape guy, because he doesn't have that much muscle and he only trained his quirk, which, good job to the guy. He only trained his quirk, but he's still got to be able to go in UA after doing that. I'm talking anime wise in this, but yeah. So basically he got stopped by the girl that can augment her hands. Later, when they arrived to the halfway point where they were told to get out, they basically presented the Pussycats, Pixie Bob and Mandalay. Izuku, when Aizawa told them where the camp was, basically knew what was going to happen and just waited there while everyone was starting to run. He just started extending his wings and ready to just flap once. When the ground broke under them, he was just flying, with one person attached to his tail, which is, let's say Bakugo, because he basically saw how Izuku reacted and was like, oh shit, okay, no, I'm staying with him. So Izuku basically stayed in the air with Bakugo grabbing to his tail. Aizawa asked Izuku to put Bakugo down there and come back up, since if he goes with them, he's basically going to do all the job. Or to just go straight to the camp, pointing where it is, and telling him to go wait there. And so he basically put Bakugo down, flied up, asked them if it was really okay, with Aizawa telling him that if he goes as fast as he can probably be there in like 4 or 5 minutes. And that if he's with them, he's basically just going to go and destroy all of the obstacles, or just go Ryu and have everyone on his back and going over the forest, which he basically says true. With the Pussycats asking, with Mandalay and Pixie Bob asking, Ryu? What? With then Aizawa saying that, you know that he can transform. His hero name is Chimera, and when he transforms, he calls it Ryu. So, dragon. Which they kind of were like, oh, so you really can transform. That's impressive. So yeah, you can just go wait at the camp, and we'll get there at some point. Everyone basically started going through the forest, all of them being stronger, basically they having enough strength to basically augment their power to be just over what they were in the anime with Izuku, so basically they have just a bit more strength that the total strength they had if we count everyone in the anime, while missing one person, so it takes about the same time, basically. So when everything's done, and that everyone's there, Izuku basically met Koda. Koda did try to do the same thing as in the anime, but basically hit it like if it was a brick wall. Because a lot of animals, like lizard and stuff, have their genitals inside of their body completely. He's basically the same way. And since he has scales on about 40% of his body, for around about 50% of it, it only leaves about 10% where it doesn't have, where it's only skin. And that place is basically armored with scales, which makes that part extremely tough. So trying to hit it is basically just trying to lose your hand at this point. So yeah, Koda kind of hurt his hand doing that, ran away. Mandalay asking if he's alright, with Bakugo saying, oh, he's alright, don't worry, he has scales down there. He's basically an armored tank that can resist any temperature, or that can throw fire, and that can grow into a freaking dragon. Basically referring to Ryu, his second form, since the only reason it's called that is because it's basically a dragon with 4 wings, extremely big, extremely tough, and extremely dangerous. So, a dragon. So, yeah, when they went for training, they basically just told him to go in the forest, and since they were told that what he did to get stronger is or train normally, or fight against things, kill them, or put them to sleep to get their strength, they basically just told him go in the forest and fight animals. hunt. You can hunt as much as you want, but please don't kill all of them. Like, only kill so that you can bring back food, well, eat some food. Basically, giving him the go-ahead to stay in the wood until the last day, when they're going to do the game. So he basically went as far as possible in the wood, seeing where Koda is at the same time, so he knows where he is. Going down, asking him if he was alright, not knowing about the thing with his parent yet. So during the day he basically stays there, hunts and eats. During the night he still comes back to the camp because he still sleeps. It's not as if he was going to just stay in the forest and train 24/7. So the same thing happened in the bath. When he catched Koda, he basically flew over the wall, with, for some reason, every girl not being that, well, having any problems with him being there, since he was completely nude at this point. Like, his towel got off, but since, like I said, his genitals are inside of his body, unless he needs them, he doesn't have anything. And they basically saw him and did cover up, but didn't scream at him or anything. So he went back inside to basically give Koda to Mandalay and Pixie Bob. They told him the story of his parents. And then the next day he went back in the forest. Then blah blah blah, things happens. He basically he puts down to sleep every type of animal he can find. He did try to beat some of Mandalay's, not Mandalay's, but Pixie Bob's monsters. And I'm going to say that they're not alive. So he doesn't get any strength from beating them. It's still good training for him, but he doesn't get any strength. Well, he doesn't get a power boost from killing them since they're not alive and stuff like that. But yeah, so at some point he did kill, like, he found a massive nest of bees or wasp or whatever you freaking want that had about like 2,000 to 3,000 bugs in it. Well, wasp fully formed. If we count with the larvas, you can double that amount practically. And after basically destroying all of them, he gained strength. And just basically what happened was not a lot of strength that he got. I'm going to make it bees so that they make honey, just because because I want to make something funny. But basically, after killing all of them, since his body still kind of changed, well, doesn't change a lot, but still do have small modification that happens to it over time. Yeah, so basically, he killed over 3,000 bees. So I just said the thing with them making honey won't even come in to anything, but he basically will get some of the small hairs on their body That's basically the only reason I actually want it to be bees. For the coloration they have. Because basically in his normal form now, at some point he'll just have some of his fur that's going to be kind of yellow and black. That's basically the only reason I want them to be bees. He doesn't get a lot of strength from them. It does increase his poison slash well, yeah, it's basically poison, just that puts you to sleep instead of killing you. Okay, so yeah. Sorry, my phone just bugged and closed on its own. So the video kind of cut. Because that thing doesn't want to open when we click it. Like right now I'm just trying to pause it. Okay, so like I was saying, he basically will have the colors of a bee later on him, and his poison will get a bit stronger. But that's basically what's going to happen from killing over 3,000 bees. So on the last day, basically they start doing the game. In the middle of it, the attack happens. Mandalay looks for Koda. Izuku tells her he knows where he is. Goes straight for it. Well, no. When Pixie Bub is starting to be taken away from the group to be knocked out, Izuku basically is able to grab her. When Stinger comes out to try and attack them, Izuku basically stings him. Same thing with Magna. Then he goes to find Koda. When he arrives there, he's just before Muscular show up. Muscular decides that he wants to attack the kid, even though he was told that if he sees Izuku Midoriya, he gets the fuck out of there. But we're talking about Muscular, the guy who just wants to kill. So he tries to attack Izuku. Izuku basically just stings him, puts him to sleep. And Muscular just went all out at the first second. So he was as muscular as he could be, with the max amount, with his quirk basically going as far as he could. The quirk and the strength that he had in that moment, 25% of the overall capacities are absorbed into Izuku, which 25% of just a quirk that augments your muscle and the rest being fully strength. When that power is going to fully be absorbed in his body in like 20 minutes, he's going to get a good power boost. Izuku's not stronger than All Might in his Chimera form. In his Ryu form, he's a lot stronger than All Might. like at least 20 times stronger than All Might could be in his prime. So over 60 times stronger than what he is in the anime. He could be at least 2 times stronger than that. I think I said 20, but no, it's like 2 times stronger than in his prime. So he is really strong in that form. He's like 100 times what All Might is in that right now in the anime. Well, in the moment where I am in my what if, when you look at the anime, he's about 100 times that, so he is powerful. So that's with the power boost I'm talking. So yeah, in his normal form, he's like about 3/4 of the way to All Might, if we count this power boost. When he transformed, he is twice the strength of Prime All Might. And yeah, so he grabs Koda, brings him back to Mandalay. He also grabbed Muscular, basically grabbing him, well, putting his tail around his arm and basically holding him up and flying with him. Arriving, he basically throws Muscular around the ground. Then tells Mandalay to basically ask Aizawa if the student can fight. She tells him that she can only tell someone something, not hear what they have to say. Then he says, I know, tell him to scream it as loud as he can if he accepts. So she does. Aizawa hears the message and then thinks, but how is she going to... Oh, Izuku's there. And basically scream at the top of his lung, I give permission to all students to fight. Which Izuku hears it and tells it to Mandalay that he accepted and to transmit it to everyone. So she does. Everyone hears it. Everyone's ready to fight. And then Izuku starts going again against other people. So he stopped the marble guy before he can even try to get Bakugo. He's able to stop Tokoyami by basically making flames around him, grabbing him and bringing him to Bakugo and telling both Bakugo and Shoto to get to the camp now, while he goes to get other people. He basically goes around killing the Nomus that were in the series. No special Nomu for him this time, which he just thinks if they sent Nomu, why didn't they send one made stronger? Even All Might wouldn't have trouble with them. Which is false, but he still thinks All Might is a lot stronger than him, that he is just faster than All Might. But no, All Might's like not that far away at this point. Like, Izuku is now a lot stronger than Endeavor. He basically saved everyone, put to sleep Dabi twice. He saw Toga, but didn't put her to sleep because, well, he basically grabbed Tsuyu and Ochako and got the hell out of there, just bringing them automatically. to another place. The only reason I'm not putting her to sleep is because after seeing, well, basically the monster he was, she was really interested in him. Not like in the anime, because in the anime she liked him because he was hurting himself from his own quirk. But this time it's literally because she's thinking he would be a perfect person for me to be able to actually constantly attack, and she knows all of the things that he got a lot of healing from the Nomus. Basically his healing compared to when he beat the first Nomu and the healing he has now. Basically, instead of like multiple months, it's only about 1 month. If you cut his entire body and that only his head is left, in a month his entire body is perfectly fine. So the healing increased a lot. Normal injuries or broken bone will heal practically instantly, just like the first Nomu did. But if like you cut his arm off, it doesn't go like that. The reason if you break his bone it will heal automatically is because, well, the bone isn't taken away. He doesn't have to regrow the thing. He just have to place it back together. And that's basically the only reason. So after that happened, we cut to everyone being there, no one being taken. Izuku killing like 2 or 3 Nomus only when there were more. Momo putting a tracker on one of the Nomus, one of the ones that Izuku didn't kill. So they have a tracker and stuff like that, and so when they all went back and were in the hospital, the heroes made the plan to basically go and attack the League of Villain, and they wanted Izuku to be there to basically kill the Nomus, precisely, because they know that if they go there, there might be more that are made specifically to kill him only, which would make it a lot harder for any other heroes, because he is the guy with the most quirk they know, and if something is made to kill him precisely, even All Might cannot hurt that thing because of all the quirks Izuku has, since he did get shock nullification with his shock absorption that he already had. It basically just makes to make one stronger, just more powerful. So they basically sent him to the Nomu factory, where All For One is. When they arrive there, they only see like 4 or 5 Nomus, and they know something's wrong. Mostly Izuku, because he is sensing, he can smell a lot of people, but he doesn't know where they are. He only knows they passed there. What's happening is that All For One basically made about, compared to the anime, which in the anime he had a lot of Nomus, all of the Nomus he had, basically, except 5 were made specifically to kill Izuku, and were all different Nomus, like different quirks, different stuff like that, and were basically made to be a lot stronger than him. Then he started getting a lot of quirks, like a massive amount of them. And so he decided to continue just augmenting the amount of quirk he had to make powerful Numus. And he decided to absorb all of them before the fight against the heroes. Basically because he was thinking, if he is able to see, well, on the news or something, that the heroes are being killed or attacked, since he just wanted to absorb one for starters and then wait to see if he comes. When he saw that Izuku was there, he just absorbed all of them at once. Like, this is way stronger than in the anime. Like, the room they got in was like 10 Nomus, and half of them are made specifically to kill Izuku. 5 Nomus specifically made to kill Izuku, and add that to the power of a one for all that is stronger than Prime All Might. You get something scary. Like, really scary. And his form changed along with it, and he absorbed like a full building as well. Like, in the anime it was an explosion that happened. In this one, it was a wind pressure of all of the building basically being absorbed in one place, and all of the matter being absorbed in a single place made it so that there were air pressure that got absorbed in and pushed everyone out of there. That's what happened. So basically what you have is a monster, basically part building, part Nomu, and part One for All, that just wants to kill All Might and a kid. When that happens, basically everyone saw that. In UA, basically everyone was like, holy frick, what the hell are they going to do against that? Basically when that happened, Shigaraki and the group were basically only Shigaraki, since the only 3 that were arrested were Staying Magna and Muscular, all of the rest of the Action Vanguard squad were still there, and they basically got teleported, and so All Might went to the other place, and he saw All for One, and he got scared, because he just thought, neither me nor Izuku can fight that. We're going to lose. So, basically, Izuku still tried to fight it. He turned into his Ryu form, basically tried to attack All for One, which was basically at least the size of 4 buildings, so a lot bigger than Izuku, which only makes like 6 times, over 6 times All Might, so there's a massive size difference. The power that One for All has is, at this point, is basically like about 10 times what Izuku has in his Ryu form, not 10 times, about 20 times. So Izuku's just basically going up, being pushed down, regenerating, going back up. with nothing basically hurting One for All. All for One. Since, well, no, it's hurting him. Just the problem is he has like 4 regeneration quirk, which makes all of the damage go away instantly. With Izuku absorbing a lot of it, they're basically on the same amount for that thing. But since Izuku cannot do as much, enough damage for it to take more than 10 seconds for One for All to regenerate, he cannot do that much. If he breaks off part of the buildings or stuff like that that are on him, basically they fall off, he can't regenerate that, but kind of hard to do. So basically every hero is trying to attack that thing. Basically they see it as a monster, and Izuku is just trying to basically kill him, well, hurt him, to put him down. Over time, basically every hero gets taken down. Every hero basically gets there, gets taken down as well, continuing like that, while Izuku is basically trying to protect them at the same time as trying to hurt All for One. And at some point he got pushed down and he was starting to get angry, as well as starting to feel really stressed because he can't beat him. All Might can't beat that thing. Nobody can. In this form, he's already stronger than All Might, and he's not even able to hurt that. So, what can he do? All Might tried to fight him, and everyone saw that Izuku was stronger than All Might in that form. All Might lost One for All at that point as well. And everyone basically saw him turn back to his normal form, being literally incapable of doing anything, and being too weak to even fight. And Izuku started thinking, there's nothing I can do. What can I do? I have strength, but even in my transformation, I can't do anything. He's too strong. Basically really being afraid this time. Like, thinking, even if I can transform again, what can I do? If I de-transform and that I don't have enough energy to go turn back into this, there's nothing I will do. Which is basically the moment that he hears someone calling him. Basically what's happening is someone basically, Momo called his dad, asked him for the number of, because his dad is rich, he must know at least one reporter or something. She asked him for a firm or some, not a firm, but the number of someone that works in there. His dad asked why. She said that if they can talk to someone on a helicopter and that can send a message, they might be able to tell Izuku something and try and help him. So she was able to. Basically, let's say on one of the helicopters there was a speaker. Let's just say that. And they basically plugged the phone on it. And it was basically the entire class telling him to not give up, that he was basically the only thing that can stop that. Shoto telling him that he must do exactly how he did it the first time. He was trying to protect people. Think about that. You were the only thing standing between a monster and people's life. You were the only thing that was able to even try to fight back. Which Izuku was basically hearing that and was like, he's right. All of this time, the only reason I'm doing this is to be the best hero as I can. If I can't even push myself, what can I do? Which he started glowing again. What's happening this time is a second transformation that I will call Kaiju. Basically, big monster. The form he has right now is, well, how I'm going to explain it is that in Digimon you start with Rookie, Baby, Rookie, Champion, Ultimate Mega, and after that there's Super Mega for some of them, which are basically just Digimon that were able to get strong enough to evolve one last time to something that is basically classed as a god at that point. His normal form is basically Baby. His second form is Rookie, and Kaiju is basically his champion form. In this form, he loses the forearm and only has two. His tail basically becomes slimmer, and at the end the stinger leaves, only to leave some kind of trident. The wings he has on his back basically doubled again, so there's 8 of them now. He has a shell on his back as well that covers his entire torso, that he could enter it basically like a turtle. His head basically grows a neck. On his head he has horns. The fire on his back basically stays there but becomes a bluish fire, which is a lot stronger. He goes as his size also increased by like 3 times from what he was, so he's really not as big as All For One, but his power increase is massive. The form he has spike almost all over his body, scales that are extremely strong. How can I explain this part? Is that I said that he loses 2 of his forearms. The reason he lost 2 arms is basically that they got replaced by... I'm trying to find how I can explain it. Let's see. I'll be right back when I'm going to find the notes, because I literally wrote that on another piece of paper. Be right back. If I'm able to press pause. You want to laugh? Actually, those 2 arms don't even turn into anything. They literally just go away. Basically, the arms fuse back together and become stronger. So on his chest he has some type of gem. Basically, that's capable of sending lasers. Basically, it's Aoyama's quirk that made that while transforming basically changed it from the stomach to the chest and basically made a type of gem to be able to send a laser without it basically going everywhere. So yeah, as well as having a lot more strength, which is a lot stronger than All For One right now, like a lot. When he transformed into that, he basically almost one-shot him. What happened is that he basically broke half of the building out of him, which, since he was still fused to one half of them, his body kind of transformed that into something else, which made him lose a lot of strength since he also lost 2 of the Nomus. And he got scared at that point because he was about the same size as Izuku, just a bit bigger. And then Izuku basically just destroyed him. Like, the laser on his chest basically used it and eradicated All For One. Well, he's still alive. Don't worry about that, he didn't kill him. But he was close. When he untransformed, once again, he was basically passed out. And All Might basically grabbed the mic, looked at the camera, and said, This is the new symbol of peace. I wasn't able to fight against this villain, but he did everything he could. He didn't just go all out, he went plus ultra. I retire today. It was my last fight. But I can be happy to know that Japan is in good hands. Basically pointing to Izuku passed out on the ground, but still smiling because he was able to protect everyone. I'm going to end it here because I wasn't even supposed to do the battle with All For One in this video, but I just continued talking and I kind of just realized that I was in it. So yeah, in the next part I'm basically going to change a lot of things that will happen in for a while, but don't worry, it's still going to be close to the anime, just changing some stuff to make it different. So yeah, hope you liked it. I had fun doing this one, and the transformation was only supposed to be known in my next video, but yeah. So, hope you liked it. Natsu out. Freaking button. Why won't you freaking... Thank you. Okay, Natsu